It didn't take long for Kojo to return after gathering the firewood. Once he reached the temple, he spotted Otsu standing on the Egewa. Lady Fusama, I did what you asked and brought back firewood, he happily spoke. The older woman smiled, glad to see him, and said, Thank you ever so much, Rengoku. Has my lovely snowflower awoken from her slumber? He asks. Yes, though I sent her on an errand on the neighboring village for some herbs. However, she hasn't been back by now. The evening sun is already setting, Otsu explained. Kojiro frowned at this. How far is the village from the temple? Not too far, only 10 minutes away by foot. I sent Shiro to go look for her. I just pray everything's all right. It's not like her to get lost, Otsu said. Worry edged in her voice. Kojiro couldn't help but worry as he averted his gaze towards the horizon. Where are you, my love? He hummed. I'm sorry to bother, miss, but could you perhaps help me? The stranger asked you. You glanced up at the stranger. It was a young man with long green hair with purple highlights. He appeared to be around Kojiro's age and wore a long purple silk hori with gold embroidery. He had a strong tribal tattoo over his right eye. You blinked at him and noticed he carried a flute in hand. Sure. Is something the matter? You asked. My name is Hatsua, and I'm a bit lost. Do you know where I can find my village? Oh, the village? He asked with a closed-eyed smile. Well, you're in luck. I just came from there, you asked, then pointing down the road. Just follow the mountain road, and then you'll see the village to your right, you explained. You can't miss it. The man, Hanasaka, smiled and nodded at you. Thank you ever so much. You're the only person who's shown me kindness. Usually people just shown me away. He says. You couldn't help but be irritated by his odd appearance. His eye, which was covered by his hair, was a mixture of purple fading into gold, and his iris was brown. Genuine. He was quite cute. I guess some people don't appreciate my music, Hanasaka says, snapping you out of your thoughts. Realizing that you had been staring, you quickly addressed the situation. I take it you're a musician then? You gestured towards his flute. I am. I like to travel from town to town and perform, he exclaims. Oh, how nice. You must be very popular if you're traveling like that. Hanasaka shook his head. No, I am but a wandering vanguard. It's nothing about me is special. I just play music in order to ease people's fears, he tells you. You tilt your head in question at that. Ease people's fears? What do you mean? You ask curiously. Well, ever since the whole demon outbreak started, a lot of people are on edge, he exclaims. Wait, he knows about demons? So I travel from village and play my flute to help them relax and find comfort. How kind of you. That's mostly generous of you, actually, he smiled. You're a good man. Thank you. That means a lot coming from a beautiful girl like you. His compliment made you blush as you shyly look away from him. So this path leads up to the temple, correct? Hanasuka says, glancing up the stairs beyond the torii gate. Yes, you replied. So, are you the priestess? He asked, glancing back at you. No, I am just a humble maiden. The priestess of Okayama's mountain temple is Lady Fusama Utsu, you tell him. So she's the old hag that's been placing those vile talismans everywhere. Hanasaka mumbled darkly under his breath. I'm sorry, what? You didn't hear him clearly as Hanasaka quickly cleared his throat before giving you a friendly smile. It's nothing. He chuckles nervously. Anyway, thanks again for helping. I really appreciate it. He says this before bowing to you. I wish I could have given you something, he frowned. Fortunately, I don't have money to repay you. There's no need to, sir. It was nothing, you said, waving your hand at him while frigidly nervous. Please. It was only out of goodwill. Your remark pleased Hanasaka's greatly as he smiled. Then, would you mind if I played you a song? He asks. I don't know. Perhaps some other time. It's getting awfully late, and I have to get back to the temple, he exclaimed. Please. I promise to make it quick. It's not every day I get to play in front of a pretty girl, Hanasaka said before taking your hand in his and leaning closer to you. You immediately grew uncomfortable because of his advantage of your personal space and touch. It's the least I can do to repay for helping me. Just one song. Hanasaka begs while giving you the most soulful puppy dog eyes he could muster. You sweated nervously before eventually giving in. All right, but make it quick. Thank you, miss, Hanasaka said before placing a kiss on the back of your hand. His bold action made your face hot. You instantly had to keep reminding yourself that you were already taken. He then let go of your hand before positioning his flute near his mouth. This is for you, my fair maiden. He smirked as he placed his lips and reed and began to play you a song. You felt a bit conflicted by his sudden nickname for you, but let it slide as you listened to his symphony carefully, finding the tune somewhat exciting. Eventually, you found yourself memorized by the strange tune, your mind's getting dizzy, as though being hypnotized like a snake to a snake charmer. You closed your eyes, shaking your head lightly to snap yourself out of it, before the more you continued to listen to Haki's song, the more sleepy you grew. Unbeknown to you, Hanasake was grinning wickedly at you, watching as you fought to stay awake. But you were falling miserably, much to his delight. No human could ever resist the serenades of his flute. You were just as weak as all the rest of those helpless victims that fell under his spell. To him, you were a treat, to look so delicious and ripe for the taking, that he couldn't wait to sink his fangs into and dine on your flesh. His stomach rumbled as the sheer thought of turning you into his submentible meal. Meanwhile, you stumbled back against the tree, unable to think straight, let alone stay awake. Just what was wrong with you? You didn't know as you found yourself losing consciousness. Your world went black as you fell down, only to be caught by Hanasaka, who smiled at your unconscious form. He chuckles evilly, eyes glaring down at you hungrily. I'm going to enjoy eating you, princess. However, Hakasa failed to notice a large pair of owlish eyes watching him, as the creature then flew off to warn the stern Flame Hashira.